In this segment, we're going to take a look at the New Deal. How did the New Deal attempt to address the causes and the effects of the Great Depression? This program is going to change the role of government to a more active one, a more active participant in solving economic and social problems. It was Franklin Roosevelt who rallied a very frightened nation in which 1 in his 4 workers was unemployed. As Franklin Roosevelt put it, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. That is to say, we are at the bottom. The only place to go is up. Don't be afraid. We are going to try something. As Franklin Roosevelt introduced his New Deal, we can break down his policies into what I call the 3 R's of the New Deal. That is, relief programs. These would offer direct assistance to the poor. Recovery programs. These are programs designed to stimulate the economy and get it rolling again, to get business back up and moving over a period of time. And finally, reform. We need government policies to prevent another economic collapse. To take a closer look at these, first let's take a look at relief. Again, measures provided direct payment to people for immediate help. This is not necessarily meaning welfare, a handout just because somebody is poor. It included programs like the Works Progress Administration, or the WPA. This is going to provide jobs for people to do a wide variety of tasks in and around city areas. Franklin Roosevelt also brings in what we call the Civilian Conservation Corps, or CCC. This is going to give jobs to young men to build roads, plant trees, and do other conservation jobs around the United States, especially in the West. When it comes to recovery, these are programs that are designed, again, to bring the nation out of the Depression over a period of time. They included things like the Agricultural Adjustment Administration, or the AAA. This program is going to give farmers subsidies, that is, cash payments, to not grow, to not produce, to dump their milk out, to slaughter and bury animals rather than sell them. Why would the government do this in a time when Americans are going hungry? The problem for the farmers was that the price of their goods had fallen, and they would lose money if they tried to sell. This type of program is designed at lowering the supply of the item, thereby increasing its value, and prices would go up. This did work for the farmers over a period of time, though the Supreme Court ultimately stepped in and said it was unconstitutional. Another important act was the National Recovery Administration, or the NRA. This is going to set codes for what was called fair trade. It established innovative new things like minimum wage for workers and protecting workers' rights to unionize. It set floors and ceilings for prices. While this is very much of government control over the economy, we did begin to see a little bit of improvement. But just like the AAA, the NRA was declared unconstitutional by the Supreme Court. When it came to reform, we are talking about measures that are going to correct the unsound banking and investment practices that were going on. One of the major reforms, again, we don't want this to happen again, one of the major reforms was the establishment of the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, or FDIC. This was established to protect people's deposits in banks, and it was designed to renew faith in the banking industry. The idea behind this, if a person puts money into a bank and the bank closes, that money is not necessarily gone. The U.S. government will back that money and protect our investments, these deposits in the bank. We also have the SEC, or the Securities Exchange Commission. This is going to provide new rules under which the stock market is going to operate. The idea behind this is this will prevent people from panic selling in the stock market and preventing the stock market from collapsing. It's going to validate and prevent people from buying stocks on margin and making the stock exchange a little more sound. Whereas once it was built on an upside-down pyramid, now it's going to be turned right side up. These two reforms are still around today. Another one of the major moves by FDR that's still around today is Social Security. This Social Security Act is going to provide essentially a retirement plan for workers, those who are too old to be working. This is going to give them enough money to help them get by. It provides protection for people of old age, that is those who have retired, but also survivors and those with disability compensation. This was the longest lasting program, and it is still an explosive issue today. The New Deal is going to bring about a permanent change in America. While some people saw the New Deal as a great, innovative, and progressive move, not everybody saw it and welcomed it so much. The New Deal is going to alter permanently the role of the American government in the economy, that of a greater role. It also is going to foster changes in people's attitudes towards the government and the government's responsibility. Organized labor is going to acquire new rights. And as the New Deal gets put into place, we get modern American capitalism. Gone are the days of laissez-faire, the hands-off. Now the government is more and more involved in the economic structure and working of the United States. As we look at the legacies that occurred here during the New Deal, there is greater government involvement in people's lives. The government is going to assume a greater responsibility to deliver public services. The government's size and power is going to grow with the expectation that it should intervene in the economy and in society. The relationship, again, between the government and the people goes from where people wanted to be left alone to now we expect the government to step in and help promote the general welfare. But perhaps most importantly, while the New Deal did improve the lives of many Americans, the New Deal did not bring us out of the Great Depression. That's going to take a global effort that's going to be World War II.